Welcome to Changing Our Reality. Awareness, choice, change. My name is Rick Freeman, and this podcast is about something we all face, challenges. Whether it's a childhood trauma, dealing with a chronic illness, or even a near-death experience, we all have challenges. Now, I've had all my challenges, and it started out in 1971. Where a 12-foot bamboo pole, someone threw it into my left eye. I was blinded. That changed my reality. Then at 15, I got Crohn's disease. In 1979, nobody really ever heard of Crohn's disease. There weren't many medications, so that led to surgery. After my fourth surgery, I needed to find something different. That something different also helped me deal with my aortic dissection, all my aneurysms, my strokes that I had. And now this tooth just fell out yesterday. And I had to deal with the challenge of, should I get here and talk, or should I just wait for another week or two until I can get it fixed? I decided to face the camera. And that something was the Chopra Center for Well-Being. And there I found a class called Perfect Health. This was after my fourth surgery from Crohn's disease, called Perfect Health. And it was being taught by Deepak Chopra and David Simon. And also I could have a private doctor's appointment with David Simon. And he was a neurologist. And I had a seizure problem. I just thought it would be perfect. So I headed out to the Chopra Center, and this is what happened. As I walked up to the Chopra Center, they had big wooden doors. I yanked on them, and they were locked. And being out of my comfort zone, I just really didn't want to be there. So I turned around as I was walking away there. This young woman, she was walking up to the doors, and I stopped her, told her the doors were locked. And she told me in this thick Latin accent how she was there to tell Deepak Chopra her story. And then she went right into telling me this amazing story. This is how long ago, she had this box of Deepak Chopra cassette tapes. And she would listen to them every day, she said, and she was going to lend them to a friend. And as she was taking them to her friend's house, she got kidnapped into the jungle. And when she was in the jungle, one of her kidnappers listened to one of the tapes, and I guess they, thinking it was going to be music, heard Deepak Chopra's voice and just laughed and threw it back at her. But they did allow her 15 minutes a day to walk in circles. And she walked in circles and she said, everything is possible. Anything is possible. Everything is possible. Anything is possible. Every day for 15 minutes. And I guess she got out because the doors opened to the Chopra Center right there. And someone came out and led her back to go see Deepak. And I was led back to this room called the Dharma room, where everyone else started to come back in for our course of Perfect Health. And I noticed everyone that came in there started to be about 25 to 30 of us. And we all had different health problems of our own. But we were looking for something different. And then David Simon, he came in and welcomed us, and he told us this course is called Perfect Health, and let's try to get a new perspective of what perfect health is, the ultimate health. Perfect health is having 4 equal parts. One is your physical well-being. One is your mental health. 1/4 of it is your emotional health, and 1/4 of it is your spiritual health. All 4 of that is perfect health. Now, we didn't get it right then and right there, but some of us were talking later on, and we were kind of joking, saying, you know what, if we improve our emotional, mental, and our spiritual health, we would be over 75% of the way to perfect health. And all of a sudden, over the years, I realized there's a lot of truth to that. I'm sitting here doing this podcast, talking about how bad my health is. That's not my physical health that's sitting here talking to you. Then David, he talked about Ayurvedic medicine and how it mirrors quantum physics. We were going to learn a lot about that this week and how our mind bodies have different doshas or mind body types. And then we were going to learn that and how to balance our bodies out. That was going to be the thing that we were going to learn about balance. Then Deepak Chopra came out and he quoted Heraclitus, this great philosopher. And he said, you cannot step in the same river twice because it's not the same river or it's not the same body. And what he went into is talking about how our cells are always dying off and new cells are being reborn all the time. And when he hit the intestines, he said, your intestines, your cells die off in so many days or months, I forget, but pretty pink new cells are being born. And I was there with my Crohn's disease, so I just raised my hand, no, that cannot be. And Deepak, he asked me my name, and he came over, and he said, Rick, imagine you had a wall that fell down in your yard. Now imagine if you build that wall, the same stone, the same drainage in the same way, what's going to happen to that wall? I just say it's going to fall down sooner or later. Now he said, what's going to happen if you put the same stone in that wall, you build a drainage ditch behind it, put gravel in there, maybe put cement in the stone, drill holes, and let the water flow through it. I was like, yeah, that's going to be a brand new wall. And what he was talking about was how our bodies are nothing but energy and information. And by changing the information that goes into the energy that makes up our body, we're going to change our reality slowly. After Deepak's talk was over, I knew there was a big change in my life. So I ended up taking every single course the Chopra Center taught. And that led me to becoming a Chopra certified teacher in this perfect health course that I was there taking. And then I was able to take the 7 spiritual laws of yoga and got certified in yoga from Claire Diab. She's the founder of the American Yoga Academy. Then I found out after I had my aortic dissection, things were going great. I had my dissection and I was going to call out and make an appointment to go out to the Chopra Center. And I found out David Simon died, passed away. The feelings in my body were a mix. It was weird. I first felt like, how could he do this to me? And then all of a sudden I felt shame because he has a wife and he had kids around my daughter's age and a son. And I felt so sorry for them. So in this last segment, I want to talk about the things that I've learned over the last 12 and a half years with my aortic dissection and how David has helped me keep through all those times. Dr. Simon, David, he passed away on me. And then I had my aortic dissection and I didn't even realize it. So I had what I learned was called survivor's guilt. I asked myself, why not me? Why David? When I had my aortic dissection, they took me to the emergency room and I was screaming, holding my chest and screaming. And when your EKG is normal, And even if you're bleeding out, they don't consider it an emergency. Just like John Ritter, Alan Thicke, they just bleed out. So I was lying there bleeding out, screaming. And the nurse came in and told me I couldn't scream like that. I'm just going to have to wait my turn. And right when he said that, a blood clot, boom, my leg turned purple and it got real big. They had to rush me off to the operating room and start putting blood in me and trying to figure out what was really wrong with me. Then they figured out my aortic dissection, flew me to another hospital. And then here's the wild part. When I was just coming to in consciousness after my surgery, it was just like what you used to tell us, kind of like the Vedic, the stages of consciousness. I was in this pure awareness. I was so comfortable. I've never been in a place so black and dark. And I was so comfortable. I had no tinnitus, no sense of time or space, no sense of up or down. And I was so comfortable. I really did not want to go anywhere else. I was happy. And then all of a sudden, I'm guessing someone opened my eyelid, or for some reason I saw a light. And all of a sudden, I got scared. I got a little sense of time, more sense of myself, more of an ego building. And then, as soon as I started to become conscious and my senses came to be, I saw my parents, I saw the nurse in front of me. And then I realized my leg was paralyzed. I was on dialysis. I was in renal failure. This was a whole new reality. And then, this was like the second or third day, I heard a doctor talking behind me. And he said, if he can't wiggle his toe by morning, we're going to have to think about amputation. So I remembered when you were talking about what you put your attention on grows stronger in your life. So I put my focus on my toe, and I just wanted it to move. And I think the nurses thought I was crazy because I was there saying, come on, baby, come on. And I was trying to focus on my toe. And by morning, my toe just made a little twitch. And the doctor, no amputation. My kidneys came back, my leg came back. Now I still have my aortic dissection, which causes aneurysms throughout my body, caused 2 strokes already. But I feel you with me all the time. And that's another thing I wanted to say. Since I talk to you so much, and I talk to other people that have passed away, do you really die when you keep their memory? I don't know. But I want to thank you. You keep teaching me, and I keep learning. What I put my attention on keeps growing stronger in my life. What I take my attention away from will wither away. Thank you. In our next episode, I'm going to talk about these layers of consciousness in the Ayurvedic sense. And we also want to talk about the emotional and physical toxins that build up in our body and how they build up in layers and why we do things like yoga and meditation, Tai Chi, Qigong. And I'm going to have a guest, Kevin Songer. He also had an aortic dissection. He's gone through a lot of change in his life. He has a wild story he wants to share with you. And anyone that wants to leave, you can leave. But I want to do a meditation if you want to stick around. Start relaxing. Now, when you breathe in and out, you don't have to close your eyes. You can just start to exhale and relax. Breathing in, and bring your focus on your breath. This meditation comes from all the meditations I took every course at the Chopra Center. I put together some of my favorites. They should be done all longer. So this has been taken down to like 5 minutes or 6 minutes. But let's focus on our breath. Inhaling and exhaling, relaxing. Don't try to control your breathing in any way. Just let your breath flow. If your mind wanders, just become aware of it. Will yourself to make the choice, the nourishing choice to go back to focusing on your breath. Your mind wanders again. Make your choice. Now put your focus on your heartbeat. If you can't sense your heart beating, just keep your focus in the area of your heart. Say to yourself, silently, the words, slow down. Slow down. Slow down. Now take your attention away from your heart and ask yourself these 3 questions. And don't look for any answer. But ask yourself, who am I? Who am I? What is my purpose? What really is my purpose? How can I serve? How can I serve? Now just sit there, keep relaxed, keep your eyes closed, keep your gaze lowered. And when you're ready, you can start to move your fingers around a little bit. Open your eyes. And that's just a little glimpse of what I always talk about, what I learned the most about meditation. That you always become aware, and that you always have a choice. And if you keep making the right choice, sooner or later you'll make a change.